Blessings, everybody. This is Dale. Thank you so much for joining with me today on the Word Podcast. We continue our examination of the book of Hebrews in the 11th chapter right now. Spending a lot of time here on this 11th chapter, aren't we? Well, it should be, because this is the great gallery of faith, the men of old and how they lived by faith. And I'll tell you what, folks, there's a lot of times that what you see in this chapter right here gives some real insight into what you see in the original account back in the Old Testament. You know, you need both of the accounts to understand the totality of things. Today's a great example of it. As a matter of fact, we're just going to sort of begin today in this episode and then go back and look at one of the accounts in the Scripture. So let's just go to it. This is Hebrews chapter 11. We're up to verse 20. And remember what had happened. Let me back up a little bit right here, get a run and go at it. Verse 17, it says this: By faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises was offering up his only begotten son. And remember, that means his unique son, the son of the promise. Abraham had another son already. He would have more sons, but this was the son of the promise. And we saw what happened in this testing in the previous episode of the podcast, in Genesis 22. Now, verse 18, it was he to whom it was said, in Isaac your descendants shall be called. So Abraham knew that his descendants would come through Isaac. Isaac knew that his descendants would come through him. Now, verse 19, he, Abraham, considered that God is able to raise people even from the dead, from which he also received him back as a type. And you saw in the account in Genesis 22 that right when Abraham had raised up his hand with the knife to offer Isaac as a sacrifice, the Lord stopped him. And the Lord says, now I know that you love me. Now I know. Abraham was simply saying that he's the child of the promise. My children will come through him. If God requires me to sacrifice him, then the Lord will have to raise him back up and give him back to me. And that's what he did. He received him back as a type. I think it's sort of interesting that we have no account of Sarah knowing about this, about mama or anything like that, right? Now, watch this. Verse 20. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau, even regarding things to come. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau, even regarding things to come. And I just think on that for a moment. You may or may not know the account and all what's happened. That's fine. We're going to go to it. Probably not today, but we'll start on the next episode, okay? The account of what actually happened and the deception that was involved in all this by Jacob. I remember what happened to Jacob. You have Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob would be the lion. He would be the child of the promise. His name actually means heel catcher or supplanter, deceiver, okay? The deceptor type of thing is what his name means. And he actually tricked Isaac and he tricked Esau. Again, we'll get into detail of it later. But how's it described here? That by faith, Isaac blessed him. He blessed him. And he blessed Esau also regarding things to come. I just want us to think of a couple of things. First of all, to know what the Scripture says, that Isaac did bless them, and he blessed them by faith. And this, I think all too often we don't think enough about Isaac. He's sort of the one in the middle of this sandwich of the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob kind of thing. And the life he lived, we know some things about him. We don't know a lot of detail about it. We see things here and there. Even the way that he, when he dies, it just says, well, he lived 180 years and he died and Jacob and Esau buried him. You know, it doesn't say a lot about him. But I've often wondered more about him. The impact upon one's life of knowing that your father was going to sacrifice you, of knowing that God is testing your father and you are the test element right here, you know, that type of thing. Now, he didn't die, and I'm not saying that it messes with you mentally and emotionally for the rest of your life, but there's some interesting things right there. If you sort of just keep that in the back of your mind, that might explain some of the things that Isaac did and how he responded and what happened. But what is the last word that is said about him in the Scripture? It is this right here in Hebrews 11:20, that by faith he blessed Jacob and Esau. And he blessed them by faith regarding things to come. It was a prophetic blessing. The Lord spoke to him and spoke through him, and he was able to see things to come. What was going to happen with Jacob, what was going to happen with Esau, what was going to happen with their relationship, okay, what was going to occur between them. And if you pay close attention, you'll see major hints about the ultimate outcome of it all. Some really interesting things. Anyway, like I said, next time we'll jump into that, okay? Again, I'm Dale. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.